known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers' best bet or daily package for only $2.
Welcome, everybody, to Wager Talk Today. I'm Lawrence Presman. He's Teddy Covers. You're watching the best daily sports betting show on the planet. Teddy, you had a bad beat last night, brother, and I'm sorry to hear about it. 17-point lead in the fourth quarter, buzzer beater. Did you throw anything?
No, it was coming. We'll talk about that and what bettors learn in just a few minutes. But on today's show, we have a loaded show. We're going to talk a bunch of hoops today. Skee Profit going to join us at the top. He's going to talk the Knicks and the Pistons for tonight and a couple of games for tomorrow. We'll get into Indy, Sacramento, New Orleans, Toronto, and if we have time, Boston and Miami for Wednesday's loaded slate. Brandon Siefkin, Tokyo Brand, is going to join us next. He's going to talk Missouri against Wichita State in college hoops, as well as Illinois and Syracuse. My big game breakdown also is college hoops, my very first college hoop selection on the show for the season. We're going to talk a little Louisville and Maryland, one of the rare situations where one team is perfect, the other team hasn't yet won a game or covered a point spread. And, of course, Dave Sharapan will close us out down the stretch. The veteran Las Vegas oddsmaker going to give us some thoughts from the other side of the counter. So there's the show set up for Tuesday. Prez, why don't you lead us in?
Brother, let's begin. Hakeem Profit. You can find him only at WagerTalk.com. And one cool freaking dude. What up, my friend? How are you?
I'm doing well. It's been a while since I've been on here with you two gentlemen, but it's good to be back. NBA so far to start the year is treating me nicely, and I'm happy I'm getting a chance to talk about it with you guys.
Yeah, and Skee, I mean, listen, you did nothing. You did nothing to not be on this show over the last month or so. Been a lot of NFL, a lot of college football. Now that NBA is in full swing, you, my brother, will be in rotation because we love having you on. You're so good at this. And let's get straight to it, man. Tonight, we've got a game, the Knicks versus the Pistons, +5 for Detroit. What do you got for us? A total of 226.5. Where are you going?
Yeah, it's a lot of guys questionable for this Detroit side, so I'm interested to see who's going to be in and out of the lineup. But they could potentially be without, three of their top four scorers with Cade, Ivy, Bogdanovich. So we'll see if any of those guys get ruled in. I know Cade is for sure out, but we have a Detroit team that's 26th in pace the last 5 games, and New York is middle of the pack. You have both teams bottom 10 shooting the three, and they're in the top half of the league defending the three. And I look at this. Teams who shot better than 50% in their previous game, where they're are playing the front end of a back-to-back, they are 22-4 to the under. And that's so far this season. If you take it back to last season and add that their opponent is also struggling to score, if their opponent failed to score 110 in back-to-back games, you have it as 23-7 to the under, 76.7%, averaging around 212 points per game. And if they're equally rested, the under is 7-0. So it looks like a slow-paced game, lower-scoring game. The Knicks have went under 7 of their last 8 road games, averaging close to 218 points per game. They've played 3 back-to-back so far this season. The front end of all of them has gone under, and they've averaged close to 217 points there. And the Pistons, 4 out of their last 5 games at the house have under, and they're only averaging 212.5. So even if you get some of these guys back in the lineup, they could be a little rusty here. And for the New York side, and the main reason why I look at this angle when teams play the next day is because you have to save some of those minutes and some of that energy for your next opponent. So if you like points, you look for them early in those situations, but the second half should be a lot lower scoring. So for me, my play in this game is under the 226.5.
So these two teams have played twice already this year. 130 to 106, 121 to 112. Both games flew over the total. And it wasn't all just hot shooting. The pace in both contests was fairly fast from a pace rating standpoint. Does that concern you at all in the third meeting between these two squads this year? Or is the fact that both these teams have played slower of late give you confidence that we're not going to see a third consecutive over in this series?
Yeah, you nailed it, Teddy. Those games that were going over, I'm pretty sure were in the beginning of the season when Detroit was playing a little bit different basketball. They're without Kate Cunningham, so that's probably a reason for pace going down some here. And yeah, last 5 games, it says they're bottom 5 in pace. So I just don't see Detroit playing that same basketball as the beginning of the season. And maybe those games were at the house for New York as well, because on the road, it's been lower scoring contests. So it does not bother me here, Teddy.
Skee Profits joining us, everybody. You're watching Wager Talk today. Stay with us. Great show ahead. I mean, listen, I had to put Tokyo Brandon on. Like, I had no choice. It was mandated. But other than that, great show ahead. Okay, my brother, you have 3 bets for us in the NBA, all for tomorrow. Let's go.
Right. So I've been doing pretty good on player props so far this season, and I didn't like any for today so far. So I want to still try to share some with you because I'm 41-21 and there's money to be made. So tomorrow, a couple of situations that sparked my interest, ways that I will be looking. You have to start at that Sacramento and Indiana game. You have Halliburton going to play his old team, and he's going to take it personal because he was crying when they traded him. He loved being over there in Sacramento, and he's been balling out lately. The last 3 games, he had 60 points, 40 assists, and 0 turnovers. He's balling out. He's had 14 plus assists, I think 5 of his last 6 games, and he's cleared 11 assists. I want to say like 10 of his last 11. So he's balling. It's one of those plays where if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I'll be on his assists for sure. I'm very likely to play his points, rebounds, assists too, because I know he's going to try to score. And he's yet to have a triple-double. I think this is the kind of game where you sprinkle. In the NBA, I know some people shy away from narratives in other sports, but the narrative works in the NBA. If you've been following it so far this year, I've had a couple of really big player prop winners. So I like Halliburton tomorrow. And on the other team, Sabonis, guy he got traded for. He's going to face his old squad. And he has a prop that's also been cashing pretty consistently. His assist, if they continue to put it at 5.5, it's hit 13 of the last 14 games. It's insane that they don't raise this number. And I think he's a guy who could also be on triple-double watch. We know the Kings play up tempo. They're a great offensive team. And the Pacers aren't a very good defensive team either. So I think this game has a lot of points involved. And you can see 2 triple-doubles in this game. So I'll be looking to play on, for sure, Halliburton assists and points and rebounds. And for Sabonis, I'll be on his assists. And I'll be looking at both guys triple-double there. And I can keep going rapid fire. I have a couple more.
Yeah, brother, keep going.
I will look at Valanciunas versus the Raptors. And really, this one is short and sweet. It's the same kind of scenario, just Valanciunas versus his old team. And let me see, I have it right here. I just lost my screen. But he's averaging 16.6 points, 15.4 rebounds in his 5 games versus the Raptors in his career. So every time he goes back to face them, he has a decent performance. And if his rebounds are less than 12.5, I will be on Valanciunas, and I'm very likely to look at double-double or something with his points involved too. And last but not least, it's been a moneymaker, and it's going to continue to be a moneymaker until Robert Williams. Celtics, their offense is a well-oiled machine. They're moving the ball. It doesn't matter if Jaylen Brown is in the lineup. It doesn't matter if Jason Tatum is out. As long as they have one of those guys, they're good. They've cleared 120 points in every one of their home games except for one. So as long as that team total tomorrow is anything south of 120, I'll be locked and loaded. So those are the 3 ways I'm looking to play tomorrow. Hopefully I can get you guys started on your study early.
Strong info, Skee. Appreciate the early look ahead for tomorrow's game. I want to ask you one follow-up on that because Boston has been shooting lights out. I mean, on this homestand, you talked about 120 plus in every game, 122 plus in every game. But It's not like they've been facing a bunch of elite defensive teams, Charlotte, Washington, Sacramento, the last three. Miami's got a pretty good defensive track record against the Celtics, and the Heat are playing defense on a night-in, night-out basis. Does that concern you at all about Boston's team total over for Wednesday night?
This does concern me. And the reason, I mean, you laid out a few of those reasons. And the one game that did not go over, I think it was versus the Miami Heat. And it was the first one since they played them in the playoffs. So you know what kind of game those playoff revenge kind of games are. So it scares me. I can't lie. But it's one of those things, Teddy, you know, when you're on it and you've been riding it over and over again, you don't stop until it loses. So that's the way I'm looking.
Hakeem Profits, everybody. Just awesome stuff. Skee, you are the $2 Tuesday handicapper over at WagerTalk.com. Guys, if you have never watched the show or don't know what we do over at WagerTalk, every Tuesday we sell the hottest, both physically, which is why Tokyo Brandon is rarely the $2 Tuesday, the hottest handicapper. That happens to be Skee right now, and he's got a very rare 5% NBA play. Skee, how often do you put out 5% NBA plays?
Extremely rare. I haven't put one up so far this year, and I'm pretty sure I'm a high volume bettor. I have close to, if not 600 bets already. So have not seen 5% play yet. Today, we're going to cash it.
There you go. 5% NBA top play, his first of the season. It is only $2, Teddy. $2. In Canada, we call that a toonie. In America, I think they call that a Dunkin' Donuts coffee, but I could be wrong. With inflation, that might now be $4. Anyway, Skee Profits, everyone. Teddy, what did we learn in the wonderful world of sports betting?
Oh, last night, well, there was something that really stood out to me last night. We talked about surprise teams early in the season in the NBA. The Utah Jazz were the surprise team coming out of the gate. The national media was all over them. They had a 12-6 start. They were sitting in the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. And then they had a couple of injuries. Mike Conley got hurt. And other teams stopped looking past them. And the Jazz are now on a 5-game skid after getting beaten at home by the Bulls last night. They are a team that is crashing in my power ratings as we speak. On the other end of the spectrum, the Indiana Pacers were not the hot team coming out of the gate. They sure are the hot team right now, 9-3 straight up their last 12. They were down 17 in the fourth quarter to the Lakers last night on the second of back-to-backs, and they were the hungrier team and the more energetic team down the stretch. So one thing you want hungry teams that are playing hard. Indiana's certainly doing that. But when it comes to the media attention, teams the media notices aren't going to be as good long-term as teams that the media pay no attention to from a point spread perspective. Indiana, a team the media is paying no attention to from a point spread perspective. And it's worth noting, Pacers now 4-0 straight up on the second of back-to-back. So, unfortunately, I learned a little something about Indiana to the detriment of my bankroll last night, Lawrence. Nonetheless, Pacers continue to make money for their backers and are looking like they're not just a flash in the pan. You?
Brother, I mean, for me, I learned that Pittsburgh is going to be a tough out this year. The Steelers, their defense is strong, and I am really impressed with Pickett. I think they found themselves a legit quarterback, man. And it didn't take long. I mean, you must have teams in this league just scratching their head, from Peyton Manning to Andrew Luck. You know, now we've got Ben Roethlisberger to Kenny Pickett, and it's like, they haven't missed a beat. This guy's for real. Impressive performance by Pittsburgh last night. I went 2-1 in the NFL last night. I did have Indianapolis, but I did win both my prop bets, so I'm happy about that. But I got to tell you, man, I don't think Pittsburgh's going to get blown out this year. Maybe if they play a monster, but kudos to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And, of course, Jeff Saturday and the clock management for Indy getting a lot of pub today, and deservedly so. When you're watching Matt Ryan run for 15 yards and be completely gassed, and the guys are downfield, and they have a minute left and all 3 timeouts, you're like, this is not a decision. You call timeout. And Jeff Saturday decided, let's not call timeout. let's run third down and fourth down as 4 plays. And that was the ballgame. I mean, that not calling a timeout there was the difference between potentially winning and what ended up happening. And that's a coach who doesn't know what he's doing.
And the fumble. The fumble at the goal line was terrible. And honestly, that was Jonathan Taylor's fault.
See, I'm going to disagree. Because what happened after the fumble, Pittsburgh went 3 and out. They punted from deep in their own zone. Indy took the good field position and scored in the next drive. So even though the fumble delayed the next touchdown, in terms of a long-term effect on the game, it went fumble at the goal line, 3 and out, touchdown on a short field because they fumbled at the goal line. So it wasn't as big of an impact as it might have been.
Fair enough. I won't argue, even though I can. Daniel, cue up the bald man.
Hey guys, Carmine, Bianco with a World Cup short. Match day 3, USA and Iran playing. This is a big one. This is a win and you're in scenario for the USA. They are at even money against Iran. This is going to be a game that it's going to be such an exciting but boring game. Iran doesn't need to win. They're going to play for a draw. A draw gets them into the knockout stages along with England. So this is all on the US to score. And I think they get it done. Let's go with with a USA 1-0 or 2-0 type victory and advance to the knockout stages. So USA plus money, plus 100 to get the win today. Come on, USA, you can do it.
Go USA. And Teddy, for me, look, Canada has not been in the World Cup for 36 years. They're now out of it already. I always cheer for the American team in soccer. They are my team. I don't know why. I just, it's one of those things. And I want more than anything to just show the Brazilians and the Spaniards and the French, we can play soccer too. So go USA. Theodore, before we bring in Tokyo Brandon, I want to mention every Tuesday over at Sports Memo, we have a special going for $5. You get 3 handicappers for $5. This Tuesday, it is Rob Vinciletti, Jesse Schul, and JM Sports. All 3 of those guys, only $5 over at Sports Memo. Now, Tokyo Brandon is joining us, and it's with chagrin. I mean, listen, I have to bring him on every now and again. I don't have a choice. What the hell was that, dude?
It's Gene Simmons.
That's not a voodoo doll that you poke and I feel pain.
It's Gene Simmons.
Tokyo.
I know you love me so much. So
first and foremost, happy freaking birthday! Now I know it's a day late, but hey, every day is your birthday. That's why the word day is in it. That's not birth year; it's birthday. So happy birthday! You know I love you. You make WagerTalk a lot of money. And so for that, I even love you more. Listen to this, guys. Like, this is, Teddy, this is freaking ridiculous. Number 1, all sports in profit this calendar year. Number 1 in all sports in profit last calendar year. Number 1 in all sports over the last 365 days. Brandon, I think that one's a little bit redundant. And number 1 in college basketball the last 7 days. Plus, he's a huge Kiss fan, number 1 in the world. And in all seriousness, a guy that I really do enjoy. A beautiful smile, an incredible energy, and probably the best freaking sports bettor I've ever met in my life. Tokyo Brandon, everyone!
Yay. And hey, I'll get every number 1 in there that I can. And don't forget to mention that I'm good luck at the craps table for you.
Okay. We'll go with that. Okay, brother.
You don't remember?
Yes, I remember. Okay. But I don't believe in any of that stuff. I don't believe I have the ability to jinx anything. I don't believe you have the ability to pass luck over.
You stood there
Dude,
holding
let's
my
get
sleeve.
it.
Don't go away.
Yeah, okay. Let's get into it, brother. Missouri playing Wichita State. You like
Yeah.
the money line here? Talk to me.
I do. Usually in college basketball, points are pretty abundant, and not quite as abundant as the NBA, but in any basketball game, points are abundant. And when I like a team, I do projection models, and when I have a team that's 15 or more points favorite, and the line is 3 or less points, I'll just take them on the money line because it's usually like minus 135 or so. And Missouri on the money line, when I put this out, I think was minus 130. Minus 135. So I'll take that because I have them a 21 point favorite in my projection. They're scoring 93 points a game. Granted, they haven't played anyone, but they're 7-0 and they're scoring 93 points a game with a 52% field goal percentage against a team that, Wichita State really hasn't played anyone. Tarleton's decent, but the point differential, the defense, the field goal percentage, it all is heavily slanted towards Missouri. So, given the fact that both teams have pretty much played nobody, I like those stats, and I like my projection at 20 plus as a favorite.
So Missouri hasn't left home yet. They've been at least minus 12 in every game, and they've been minus 18 or higher in the majority. So they really haven't. They've done is step down in class against easy teams at home.
True.
And
Very
Wichita
true.
State, you said they haven't played anyone, but
Tarleton?
Wichita State has 3 games this year. Each of their last 4 games, in fact, where they've been in a range of 5 points or less against the spread. The Richmond game, the Tarleton game, the San Fran game, et cetera, et cetera. So the markets are saying that basically Missouri, a team that is their power rating's only gone up since this season has begun because they've been blowing out these weak opponents. The markets are basically saying these two teams are fairly even. We'll give a little bit of credit to Missouri for winning all these games, but there's not a gulf between these two squads.
Right.
Your numbers are saying there's a 20-point gulf between these two teams. I'm curious about that. Is it the strength of schedule? Do you factor strength of schedule in there at all?
I do factor strength of schedule. I factor in. I base my model pretty much on a bunch of factors. One is luck. One is field goal percentage, pace of game. But if you break this all down, essentially the bookmakers are saying these two teams are dead even, and they're giving Wichita a little favor for being at home. I don't think Wichita's home court is that much of an advantage. They beat Richmond by 3 points at home. Richmond is nothing compared to Missouri. Missouri is scoring 93 a game, and they're shooting 52% field goal percentage. Granted, like I said, they haven't played anyone, but yes, I do take strength of schedule into factor, and I still like Missouri a lot here. I like them by about 20 points. Probably it won't turn out that way. It could be a close game, which is why, when the spread is 3 points or less, I love the money line. I think Missouri takes care of business here.
Tokyo, Brandon. Tokyo, before we move on to the next game, Rick White made a very good point in the chat room. I talked about how I don't believe in luck and superstition, et cetera, and then he pointed out that I have 5% pence. So,
Yes.
I'm wearing them, bro. Do you know why I'm wearing my 5% pants? I woke up Sunday morning, and they were on the floor, like all my clothing. I put them on, and I went 12-4. So I put them on again yesterday, and I went 6-3. So now they ain't coming off. So I'm wrong.
I think sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Prez. I think all of us in this industry, we're putting out 2, 3, 4 plays a day, and this is basically our lifestyle. It would be hard to find someone who doesn't have some kind of superstition or some kind of lucky something or other. For me, I don't really have a lot of luck things, but I don't have something I wear or anything like that. But I do, when I watch the game that I'm betting, I tend to have bad luck. So generally, I will watch the ESPN tracker of how my team's doing. I don't watch the actual game because it's bad luck. I know it's not bad luck because the players know that I'm watching, right? I know.
But Brandon,
I think
that's the best superstition on the planet because it gives
less
you
stress.
freedom. Teddy, do you have any?
Not much.
Really?
I watch
Okay.
games. I don't have a pair of pants I pick off dirty off the floor every morning because I won last night. No, not so much, guys.
Wow, Teddy, you're a cold turkey.
Honestly, Tokyo, I got to deal with this guy every day. Cold is one adjective. I could come calculated. Up. Guys, put the adjectives you think of. The one word adjective you think of when thinking of Teddy Covers. Put it in the chat room. Let me see what you got.
Teddy's an assassin.
Okay, assassin is not one of the adjectives I would come up with. So Illinois was minus 10.5. They're now minus 12.5. They're playing the Cuse. What do you got for us, brother?
Hey, I moved the line. I think it moved, as George Costanza once said. When I put this out, it was 10.5. It's moved to 12.5. But, Syracuse gets a lot of credit for their name. But this year, they're not a very good team. They do have a decent record. 3-3. They lost to Virginia and they've beaten a lot of trash. So, they're shooting 42% from the field. They're scoring 74 points a game. They're a very average team with a very big name. They're kind of like the Buccaneers in the NFL. Illinois is a great team. They're scoring 84 a game. They're shooting over 50% field goal. They win on the road. They win at home. They're just a good team. They're 5-1. They're 4-0 in the conference, and they're just a better team. My projection has Illinois here, 18-point favorite, and I have two projections. And if both of those projections put a team over 15, I'm going to take it. If it's 10 points or less, I'm going to take it. This has climbed to 12.5. I would love to parlay them in with like Tarleton on the money line maybe or something like that, but 12.5, I'd still do it. If it climbs to 13, I might back off. But 12.5, I would still do this because they're just such a better team.
There you go. Tokyo Brandon, everyone. He's got a 5% college football play up for Saturday. He is the number one handicapper this year, last year. Well, I wasn't even around the year before, but he probably would have been the number one handicapper then too. If you're going to buy one person's yearly subscription, that's the man. Tokyo, we do love you. I love having you on the show. I love Gene Simmons. He's part of my tribe, an incredibly smart businessman.
He is.
Now, get out of here. Dan, cue up that video, bro. And then we got Dave Sharapan.
Known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers' best bet or daily package for only $2.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. Let's talk some college hoops. December just on the horizon. This is an ACC Big Ten Challenge game on ESPN2 tonight. Maryland minus 13 on the road at Louisville. Total 135.5. And look, it's been ugly for Kenny Payne in early season play for the Cardinals. Talk about an 0-6 team, 0-6 straight up, 0-6 against the spread. Not like they have no talent. The 9-man rotation, okay? And the point spread, of course, is the great equalizer in these contests. Louisville lost 3 one-point games at home. They went to Maui and had an absolute disaster. 3 games in 3 days, all against teams that were way better than they were. They were plus 15, plus 13.5, plus 9.5. They lost all 3 straight up and against the spread. Now they return home. Who's betting Louisville? Nobody, okay? So what happens when a team starts out 0-6 straight up, 0-6 against the spread? Every game, their power rating goes down a point or two, and all of a sudden you're getting like 8 or 10 points more with Louisville than you would have 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago. All right. Now, when we look at and again, it was a 13-win team last year, 0-6 this year. The markets are adjusting fast and furious, and their power rating is dropping like a rock. All right. The Terps haven't played a road game yet. Okay. Maryland is not an elite team. Yes, they started out the season hot, playing nothing but lesser foes at home. And then unlike Louisville, who had a terrible tournament, when they went to Maui, Maryland had a great tournament. They went to Mohegan Sun. They shot 60% in the finale against Miami and blew them out. Well, they're 0-1 against the spread since. They're an overvalued commodity. And laying 13 or 13.5 points with Maryland on the road in this game is simply too many. Ugly dog. I think they hang around tonight. Give me Louisville plus the points. There's your big game breakdown. Back to you,
Teddy
Mr.
covers. Great stuff. Dave Sharapan joining us, everyone. Dave, come on in, bro.
What's up?
How are you, man?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Teddy's, we'll talk about Teddy in a second, but I'm doing good. I just want to let everybody know we need 32 more likes if you want a daily presidential address, and I got 4 NHL bets to give out.
4
So, Dave,
today?
shut up. Dave, I asked everybody. You want me to come on?
Next Tuesday. Let's go.
Okay, so Dave, I asked everybody in the middle of the show to give us one put those ridiculous sunglasses away. I asked everybody at the beginning of the show to give us one adjective that best describes Teddy covers. So here are the words that have been used to best describe Teddy covers: grumpy, frosty, ordinary, legend, smart,
Thank you.
informative.
Thank you.
Focused,
Thank you.
fearless, and
Thank
the
you.
weirdest one of all, patient. Then one
That's a
guy
show
wrote,
you every day. Nailed
one
that
guy
one.
wrote,
Whoever said
one guy
patient
wrote,
wins.
one guy wrote adult.
Grown up, for sure.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Really. I thought it'd be a lot worse than that.
I have a
Hey,
word.
go ahead, Dave. What's your word?
Dignified.
Dignified. I got one too.
A-hole.
Old.
Oh. Don't you
Can
have
you
to be
believe
older
it?
than you to be called old?
Well, dude, it's not your age. And Teddy, I think, is a year older than me. I was born in 1969, Teddy.
Yeah, I'm a couple years older than you.
Yeah. If you don't think Teddy looks at least a decade older than me, you need to go to an eye doctor ASAP. The word is old. Dave Sharapan, how are you, dude?
Did you
Yeah, Teddy?
shave? Where's your beard?
Well, I never shave. I trim or groom, and I had a haircut yesterday.
Looks great.
Oh, you're so nice to me, Dave. Thank you, brother. Teddy, did you want to
the
say
beard?
something?
For the love of God, can we please get something actionable? We have a veteran Las Vegas and global
Go ahead.
odds maker on the show, and you're spending 6 minutes talking about what your haircut was like yesterday.
Looks
Which,
great, bro.
We appreciate it. Nonetheless, when we have Dave Sharapan on the show and we're trying to be the adult in the room, let's get some actionable information. And I want to start with college football, Dave,
See what he did
because
there.
obviously
Yeah.
it's conference championship weekend. Talk to me about any lines that surprised you. There's been people telling me they're really surprised by the TCU Kansas State line. That's one that stands out. Anything surprise you, and anything stand out in terms of early week action for the conference championship games on Saturday?
I mean, that one's not as surprising. You know, odds makers have not gotten the TCU lines right all season. You can't be, 10-2 against the spread and not have some debate and questions about what their line should be. You know, ideally, there's 12 games in a season. The books would like you to be 6-6 or 5-7 or 7-5 against a number. Keep them guessing. It's like the NFL. It's really tough. So I'm not surprised by it because K-State's playing their best football of the season right now. That's going to be a tough matchup. And I think majority of people want to see TCU out of there. And I don't know why. They're a quality football team. The one that surprises me the most, Teddy, is, and you can kind of walk me through this because I would have had this conversation had I been in a room with the boys. USC was -3 at Utah. Now they go to a neutral, and it's less when we know USC is a quote-unquote better team, right? But they're not, apparently, in the odds makers' eyes because the number's lower. The game's here on a neutral field in Vegas, and you would normally make it, if it's -3 at the other person's place, it should be higher at a neutral and for sure higher at your place. So that's the one that surprised me the most. Did that pique your interest at all?
So Whittingham's track record as a dog is pretty good.
Yeah.
And even the game at Oregon a couple of weeks ago, where they didn't cover against a closing number, where they lose that game by a field goal, and if memory serves correctly, that were and with chances to win. So I wasn't shocked by that number. And the Utes are a team that when they're catching points, it's the only way I'm looking in many of these ball games. And of course, for all of these undefeated, there are the teams that have USC has a chance if they win this game to get an invite to the big dance. The pressure is on.
Yeah.
Is the pressure for all these teams, these must do all we got to do is win this game and we're going to go play for something big. Talk to me about how that's going to affect the betting markets. Do the betting markets pay no attention to that whatsoever?
Well, it's funny. No, betting markets pay all the attention to it, and I don't know how much they should because the books don't pay any attention to it. Like, look at the Michigan number. I was debating these lines with some guys that, were putting them up on Saturday, and I said, Michigan 17. And he said, oh, don't you think that might be a little bit high? I said, who in the world is going to bet Purdue? No one is going to bet Purdue. You have to go find the dog number first because it's just going to keep climbing, keep climbing, keep climbing. Well, a lot of books are okay with that exposure. So, Michigan has to win, right? I mean, they're going to win. They're playing Purdue. Can't lose. Georgia, the numbers, it's climbing. It's 17.5, 18 in places. LSU has to win to get in. Do they? I don't even know if they're going to score. They're so offensively challenged the last few weeks. I don't know. I don't know if you could make that number high enough. And then the other games, I mean, it's a lot of I don't want to disrespect those teams and those fans and those games, but it's a lot of noise when you go with the big games between the Pac-12, the Big 12, and the Big 10. Those games just dominate handle in the SEC championship, but that line may keep people off it. So, I don't know, Central Florida Tulane may be the best game of the day. The line's sitting -3. I know guys with both sides of that game as far as winning their conference that are sitting on it and just going to lay the lesser of the two if one is 8-1 and one is 2-1. So that's probably the best game of the day. But yeah, college football Saturday was great. Your Michigan Wolverines was great. That was awesome. Fun watch. Live dog. Did what they needed to do. Now you're trying to figure out who's going to be the 3 and the 4. It's going to be a very big discussion today when those rankings come out.
And of course, throughout the Michigan game, everyone's texting me, and I'm like, I don't care if they win. All I want is the over.
Right? Just keep scoring.
I don't care. It's like my days of fandom have come. Like Ohio State makes a run, Michigan makes a run. Just somebody get a big play and get this game up and over the total,
please.
Which was all well that ended, or all's well that ended well. Let's shift our focus. We're talking college. Let's talk a little college hoops for a minute before we talk NFL. Now we're getting into 3 weeks into the season, 4 weeks into the season. We've had conference, we've had the Thanksgiving tournaments. Mm-hmm. Anyone stand out to you in terms of a value team right now in college hoops? Anyone stand out to you as a bet against team? What teams have piqued your attention in early college hoops action? And I know it's not a question we prep for, and there's 300 and X number of college basketball teams, but give me a team or two that stood out to you in early season play, a team that we can make money with right now, or that make money betting on or against.
I meet so many people, and it's such a crazy life in this, Vegas and people from out of town all the time. And I go to the books and talk to them now because I'm on the other side of the counter, so I can actually talk to them instead of worrying about halftime lines and all this other crap. Florida State is a bet against team every single time they play. They are so bad. The odds makers have not adjusted. And I got this literally from Helveta. She was here for Thanksgiving and then went up to watch the Phil Knight Invitational up in Oregon. She went to Florida State. She's a professor at the school, and she's telling me this, and I'm watching this, and she's absolutely right. They cannot compete right now with the team that they have. They don't make shots. They don't play defense. They're getting blown out. They've been favored a lot. I think it's something to watch going forward. If they're favored, you can play the dog plus the points and on the money line. And they may not be getting enough points when they're actually playing really good teams because of, Leonard Hamilton's reputation and their past history. Sometimes it takes 10, 12 games to catch up. Those Thanksgiving Day tournaments, you see some great games, different matchups that you never see in gyms that you never see in floors. I don't know what they're doing with college basketball floors. It's almost making it impossible to watch some of them on television because you can't see the lines, and it's actually distracting when you're watching it. But college basketball has been great so far. Books have been doing better than usual. I can tell you that right now. It's been slightly above normal procedure because teams are winning games they probably shouldn't.
Dave Sharapan joining us. And Dave, a suggestion to you. When watching a college basketball game, if you're having trouble seeing, put those really sexy sunglasses on.
Right.
Yeah, there we go.
Now I can see. You're right. All right, perfect.
So, Dave, you have 4 daughters, right?
3. Don't
3 daughters and a wife.
3
daughters and a wife, and all of them bought the same exact sunglasses. That's beautiful, Dave.
It's one pair. We just share. Everybody.
NFL this weekend. What are you hearing? What are you seeing? What do you like? What do you got? Give us something.
Well, this is it's getting interesting, right? It's getting real now. Buffalo, New England, they're going to play New England. It's crazy, but they're going to play New England. I can't argue that they weren't the right side on Thanksgiving night. I don't know what a catch is anymore. I don't know what a football move is anymore. Go to the ground, this, that, whatever. Your hands under the ball. It looked like a catch. It sounded like a catch. Apparently, it's not a catch. On the flip side of that, Jets of Minnesota, all right, you got 3. This is so interesting because now what are the Jets? Who are the Jets? Mike White, the quarterback? Is he the quarterback going forward? That was one of the biggest fun things to not be in a book. But think about the guys in the book on Sunday. When the line came out, it was 4.5. Then Fields wasn't going to play. It moved to 7. Oh, then Simeon's not going to play. It goes to 9.5, back and forth. Fun story. Glad I wasn't in the room. Denver, Baltimore. Denver is, I think it's 10-1 now to the under. They're a complete mess. They can't score. They're on the road again. In Baltimore, off a game that they probably should have won. How many trips to the red zone? Kick field goals, don't get touchdowns. I don't know about the side there. I mean, they're going to fall for the trap again and take Denver. They keep taking Denver.
No chance.
Last week they bet against them. It didn't work out, but under in that game. That's it for now, Prez. There's a lot of hockey. I can't wait to see. Did we get enough likes for these games, for these 4
Yes,
plays?
we did. Teddy!
I love Tuesdays.
That's why.
I love Tuesdays.
Dave Sharapan at SportsBK Consig on Twitter, Sportsbook Consigliere, abbreviated to SportsBK Consig. Dave, great info. What else do you have to promote? Where can people find you out there in the great wide world?
So first of all, I just wore to run TMC jersey. I just wanted to show that off with the Warriors because the Warriors are probably going to win tonight on the way out. Every day, Monday through Friday, Bostonian versus the Book, 10 a.m. Pacific, live on YouTube, and the replays on Sports Grid and SiriusXM every night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern. My own podcast, Cash Considerations, with Dan Alexander and Carl Haskell and Tony Yanizzi, along with 8 in the Box. We do that every week. That's available on the Cash Consideration podcast, YouTube channel. And that's it for now. We got a lot of things cooking, trying to figure out what we're doing for the holidays. Thank you guys. Post-Thanksgiving, everybody for watching. And Prez, take it away. Thank you, sir. Flex Tuesday on the way out. Give you somebody something.
Okay.
Dave Sharapan with a Flex Tuesday, and now with 100 likes in the books. let's throw to Lawrence's presidential address.
All right, it's time for the daily presidential address. It's Tuesday. Don't forget, everybody, it's $2 Tuesdays over at WagerTalk, $5 Tuesday over at Sports Memo. The $2 Tuesday handicapper WagerTalk is Skee Profit. It is his first 5% play of the year. I have 4 hockey plays to give out on this video. Before I get into that, I want to tell you guys I'm absolutely rolling. I have the number 2 most profitable handicapper WagerTalk in all sports over the last 3 days. I'm number 2 over the last 30 days. In NFL, I'm number 1 in the last 3 days and number 1 in the last 7 days. In NHL, I'm up big profits. In hockey, in NBA, I'm the number 1 handicapper in the last 3 days. I'm the number 3 handicapper in the last 7 days, and on and on and on and on and on. So let's just move on and give you some free picks. Dave, you have no biceps at all. Okay, Montreal Habs are playing San Jose Sharks. Montreal is the play tonight. I also like the over in this game. I think we're going to see a lot of scoring in this game. Young, fast team in Montreal. A team that just is super sloppy on defense in San Jose. I think we're going to see a 5-2, 5-3 type hockey game. Take Montreal, take the over. Boston is playing Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay off of a huge overtime win last night in Buffalo. It's a bad spot for them. We're going to take the Boston Bruins. And I also like the Carolina Hurricanes against Pittsburgh. I've got 3 college basketball, 2 NBA, and 2 NHL up tonight for our all-access clients. Teddy, take us home.
That's going to wrap it for the Tuesday edition of WagerTalk Today. We'll do it again tomorrow, same time, same channel, 9 a.m. here on the left coast, noon for you back east. I want to thank all of our guests. I want to thank all of you for taking time out of your busy day to spend with us. Between now and tomorrow's show, enjoy the games and good luck.
Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers, best bet, or daily package for only $2.